Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with this week's episode of the Rogues Alley. This week I'm going to be taking an idea with the Winding Constrictor with a lot of the fight mechanics. We have a good fight mechanic that also gives a +1/+1/+1 counter called the Savage Stomp, which works really well with the Winding Constrictor. It also reduces the cost by 2 for if you target a dinosaur you control. So this is kind of a mid-range dinosaur fight deck with Winding Constrictor, making it have a little better payoff than it normally would have if we just went into the white and green. So let's just go down the list of what I have. This is a deck that only runs 18 lands. It's because we can utilize both Attune with Aether and Commune with the Dinosaurs. So it helps you kind of mitigate the mana flood, which mid-range decks often suffer from, as the Commune with Dinosaurs later on, if you use it, can be used to go and get a dinosaur, or hopefully get a dinosaur off the top 5 of your library. Whereas if it's utilized early, it is used to just go get your land drops. So we have no turn 1 drop except for the Attunes and Communes. And then at the 2 drop, we're going to run Drover of the Mighty and Servant of the Conduit, 4 Drovers and 3 Servants, as well as 4 Winding Constrictor. This is going to help us ramp into our 4 drops. The 4 drop is the real key component to this deck. In this case, we're running 3 Bristling Hydras and 4 Ripjaw Raptors. And then at our 3 drop, we only have a Ranging Raptors and a Rishkar Renegade, as the Rishkar does have the synergy with the Winding Constrictor, and the Ranging Raptors does have the synergy with the fight. Then that basically, our last little bit of creatures we're going to run in this deck is 2 Snapping Sailbacks. I actually found this card to be very, very potent. It is a 5-drop 4/4 flash, and the enrage is kind of nice because you got to think of this as almost like a 5/5 flash. You oftentimes can kill your opponent's Rogue Refiners, and then this becomes a 5/5 out of the reach of the Glorybringer. And the flash, being a combat trick, oftentimes is a removal spell. The other card we are going to run is just a 1 of Bellowing Aegisaur, just because this is a fun card. I don't expect it to do much. This gives us a payoff for our Drovers and our Servants of the Conduits, and even the Winding Constrictor later on. If you can enrage this guy, then all of our little mana dorks become big and can actually finish off the game. So since this is a fight deck, we are going to be running the Prepare Fights as a 3 of. This card has actually been very, very good in testing. It's the key card versus the Ramnup matches and any other aggro-based strategy. There's a lot of Mardu and black-red and just the old school Ramnup. Occasionally they'll go up against a teamer aggro deck that tries to run the merfolk that just keep getting bigger and bigger for each spell you cast. And Prepare has been surprisingly potent versus these aggro-based decks, as a lot of times the Prepare can untap your creature, kill off a creature, and then the fight the next turn can kill off another creature. The last card we are going to run in this deck is the Walking Ballista, because this is an enraged deck. The Walking Ballista can draw cards off the Ripjaw Raptor. It can get a land with the Ranging Raptors. It also can enable the Bellowing Aegisaur. A sideboard card, we still do want action versus some of the faster based decks and either Heart or Crown based decks. So we are going to have 4 Fatal Pushes. I've really thought about putting a way to deal with the Scarab God in this deck. I think the Hour of Glory or Vraska's Contempt is the right way to go. I haven't put one in the sideboard, but we might change this up if Fatal Pushes ended up being weak compared to, I think Hour of Glory would be better for the sideboard slot because of it won't require double black, which in this deck is quite difficult to get. So it can't hit a Planeswalker, but it can still get rid of a god. In the case of the Scarab God, if they happen to have one in their hand, that just gets rid of them forever. Then we're going to run a Shaper's Sanctuary. I think this is another underrated card. It's very, very good versus even Ramnup Red, and it's extremely good versus the black-blue control, as the majority of their spells do target your creatures. They want to 1-for-1 you a lot, so if they even target with the Vraska's Contempt or Fatal Pushes or something like that, at least you get to draw a card. Speaking of targets, Blossoming Defense is another way to protect our creatures. A lot of times you do need to protect your Winding Constrictor, so if you're going against Lightning Strike or Fatal Push decks, you can bring in the Blossoming Defense. 2 Heroic Interventions, this is usually in here for Fumigates, the Fumigate match, the Abzan tokens, and 3 Deathgorge Scavengers. This is really, really good versus the God of Heroes gift decks or any other deck that utilizes their graveyard. And to give us a really good favorable matchup versus the black-blue control, Carnage Tyrant is incredibly good versus that matchup. It's just miserable for them to deal with the Carnage Tyrant. So we're going to run 2 of them in the sideboard. There's plenty of other cards I've had in the sideboard. with this deck, but I think that this is a good little sideboard package versus the majority of the decks. So let's go ahead and queue this up, see how well we do, and you can follow along in the timestamps in the description as well as in the comment section. All right, let's get to game one. Okay, match number 1. Yes, we'd like to play first here. I think that this is an acceptable hand. We have a lot of lands, but statistically speaking, we shouldn't be drawing into much more. We have the Ripjaw Raptor Walking Ballista combo, which is pretty ideal, so we'll go ahead here and play the Forest, and then throw out the Attune. And here we will go get, I think that we still want another Forest. That way we're pretty much have all of the mana sources that we need. I don't know if we cast a Walking Ballista. It depends on what my opponent does on this turn, because I think Walking Ballista is something you want to play later, and I don't just want to chuck it out. So a Sheltered Thicket, this is usually going to be the Teamer Energy, which is still the most popular deck. We throw another Attune. Yeah, that's going to be the play for sure this game, and I think we still get another Forest. Not a lot of times we use a double black or a double white. In fact, very rarely, unless we're casting 2 of the prepare fights or prepares in the same turn, or 2 Winding Constrictors, which with this hand, it's most likely not going to happen. So it's actually going to be a Jun list, which is going to be really good for us with the Ripjaws because they're going to be very potent. So we'll go Concealed Courtyard here and just pass the turn. Again, I don't want to. These Walking Ballistas tend to be a resource, and therefore I don't want to use the Walking Ballistas this early. And there's a Doomfall. Unfortunately, Doomfall is going to rip out the Ripjaw Raptor. No pun intended there. And we're stuck with just 2 Walking Ballistas. So again, we do need to draw into some potent cards here. A Constrictor would still be good. Okay, I said we weren't going to get mana flooded, but unfortunately we did draw into an Aether Hub. Here, though, we will cast the Walking Ballista on 2. It gives us at least some pressure. It could easily get Fatal pushed. But unfortunately, the flood is real here. The Communes are going to be decent, though. We don't need lands anymore, so Communes can find us Dinosaurs. And Chandra should go a plus here. I don't know if that's the right, because we can kill Chandra and keep our Walking Ballista alive next turn. Oh, he's going to use the mana, and there isn't a Braid. So that's a good little use of Chandra. Yes, we'd like to redirect. And yes, we'd like to redirect. And next turn, I think we're going to be forced to chuck out another Ballista. Drover here is not terrible. I think Drover's actually fine. Unfortunately, though, it's kind of a weak drop without another Dinosaur out. So we're at the mercy of Chandra really finding answers. Glorybringer could come down here. Or Chandra can find a Glorybringer. I need to quit telling the universe what I don't want to play against, but again, it is what it is. I wonder if this is going to exert here. Yes, okay, so my opponent does exert the Drover, and this is going to be tough for us to come back from because we just, of course, just drew out way too many lands. And there's another Attune. Okay, we have very few lands left in our deck. At this point, we can just go get another white source, and maybe I should have Walking Ballisted on 3 there. We're going to do it for 2, though. But pretty much we are in a very, very bad position with the amount of lands. We don't have a lot of lands left in our deck. 10 lands out of 45. So way less than a 25% chance. And all of our Attune's gone too. And there's another Glorybringer. So our opponents can draw those Glorybringers. It's usually the cards that is going to be the most potent in the deck. We need to avoid Glorybringers being drawn. And we don't have, I don't think we have any way to really come back with this game. Any top deck is just going to die to Glorybringers. Maybe Ripjaw's okay, actually, off the top. But it's another land, and that's going to be game. So the flood was real there. Only drew Attunes and lands, literally. Only one drover, Attunes and lands from our starting hand. It's just going to find us more and more and more and more lands. All right, so Fatal Push doesn't need to come in. Carnage Tyrant's okay. We might need to go over the top of our opponent. Deathgorge Scavenger, I don't think is necessary. I'm going to bring in the Blossoming Defenses just to kind of keep our creatures alive. And the cards that can come out, I'm not sure if the Savage Stomps absolutely. There wasn't a lot that our opponent our opponent showed us. Snapping Sailback might be weak here. It's still a good card. Same thing, the Bellowing Aegisaur. It puts our creature count down kind of low, and the dinosaur count way low if we go this route. So I don't think we can actually do this. Maybe the Carnage Tyrant is just a really, really potent card. Yeah, I think our opponent's going to give us time to really set up. I'm not sure if Prepare Fight. Maybe Prepare Fight. Or the Sailback seems actually pretty decent in this. And I think Blossoming Defenses for Prepare Fight. I would like ways to deal with our opponent's Glorybringers, though, and Prepare Fight's a good one. But Blossoming Defense is pretty good about saving versus a removal spell, like even an Abrade's not bad. Yeah, maybe I don't need the Blossoming Defense. We're going to keep it out. And I think the Aegisaur is just too weak in this one. And we're going to cut one Sailback or just cut. We'll cut one Prepare Fight. I want to put out as many creatures as possible. Deathgorge Scavenger I don't think is quite good in this one. Neither is the Shaper's Sanctuary. So here we go. This was a pretty decent little hand. We have a Commune on turn number 1 to help us find some more lands, and we have a Servant of the Conduit, Bristling Hydra. Combo Savage Stomp will be good with the Snapping Sailback. So kind of silly that I said this deck is very not very susceptible to land flooding. That's what happens game 1, of course. And again, Glorybringer is usually the tough card for this deck to deal with without a creature out to fight it. So we're going to Commune. This can miss, but speaking of the flood, there it is. I think at this point the hub is best. Adds another energy. And then next turn we have the Servant of the Conduit. And there's double Servant. And so if this sticks out, we will have the Bristling Hydra. Unfortunately, though, we do need to hit more lands, and putting those 3 on the bottom is quite weak if this Servant gets taken care of. And it does with the Lightning Strike. We do have a backup one, and we still have a land drop, so I'm okay with that. I don't like drawing the second Savage Stomp. And there's a Ballista, so this is good news for us. We can actually fight off the Ballista if we wanted to, but this is just a free card, the Attune. So we'll Attune, find the other green source. And we do have to spend a green, but our Bristling Hydra has 3 activations. This does tend to be a tough card for John to deal with. It does have Doomfall, so taking care of the Servant and then going for a Doomfall is a pretty good play, but double Walking Ballista is not going to be very good. So we're just going to start crushing in with the Bristling Hydras and get another land, which is not ideal. We're going to keep back for a Snapping Sailback. And I think I'm going to put him on a clock. Get our opponent down to a 15. And we have the Snapping Sailback, so our opponent has kind of kept a greedy hand and got punished for it. So Walking Ballistas. Makes the Shaper Sanctuary a little more potent. I'm just going to try it. It's just a one of. We'll throw it in. Maybe we just need the one of Carnage Tyrant. Go ahead and submit this. And this is these hands are pretty good because you can usually keep one landers. Of course, I'd be a little more comfortable if this was an Attune rather than just a Commune, because again, a Commune can miss. It is possible. In fact, we have 17 cards out of 52 is what we'll have to find a land with Commune. So yeah, that can be. And now we have actually 16. So. But it's tough for this to miss, and in this case we get, I think, just another Aether Hub or another forest here is probably the right play. And I didn't want the Savage Stomp number 3, so we'll put these on the bottom. And we are in pretty good shape after this if we can get the Ripjaw Raptor out. So there is a Argo's Bloodfast. And there's another Raptor, so again, one more land and we're very comfortable. I wonder if Servant was actually the better play there. No, I think Ripjaw is the higher payoff, because Servant would just drew a... Oh, wow, our opponent kept another greedy hand. There's a Winding Constrictor. Ripjaw is the better play here. And hopefully draw another land next turn so we can just cast the other Ripjaw. Yeah, this is over. My opponent kept the 2-lander, didn't pay off, and didn't really have some good games here. Flood, Starve. I mean, that's very typical for MTG. A Walking Ballista goes to the graveyard. We have a Concealed Courtyard here. So the play is just going to throw another Ripjaw. Interested to see what else is in my opponent's list. I want to say Unlicensed Disintegration is probably in here because of the Walking Ballista. I think that's the artifact is key. Okay, it's over. My opponent doesn't even have anything to deal with the lethal on the backswing. Have to draw a black source and a fatal push. So I'm not a big fan of this Argo's Bloodfast. I think it just takes too much resources to get going. And the backside, the flip side of it's not good in a lot of the decks that you want it in. Being able to sacrifice a creature, gain life equal to the creature's toughness is a lot of times just not very relevant. If you have to kill in this particular deck, if my opponent's using, you have to kill a Glorybringer, something like that to gain 4 life. That just feels terrible to do so. So, I mean, it's just a bad greed, the Argo's Bloodfast. I'd rather just be playing something like Swordpoint Diplomacy. I think you'd usually get more cards out of it, but I don't know. Maybe in a lifelink deck too, that'd be a little bit better. But anyway, we'll go on to the next match. All right, match number 2. This is kind of a risky hand. We do have the Commune with the Dinosaurs that I might end up using to go try to find a dinosaur rather than throw out, because we have the Double Drover of the Mighty. So this is what I like about the flex spot of these Communes. Of course, a Raptor would be good to grab here with the double Savage Stomps. Love to show you the Rammed-Up Red matchup if we can find it. It's pretty fun with the Prepare Fights. You'll see the sheer power of that card, but it's a Botanical Sanctum, which could mean that we are going against energy, could mean another deck. So we'll go Blooming Marsh here and just pass. I don't think we need to use the Commune. And see if the Long Tusk Cub comes out. It sure does. Now Attune with the Aether, that one's a little more I don't know if a Rogue Refiner comes out here, the Long Tusk Cub just has to happen. We would like to hit a land next turn that I can just naturally... Yeah, I just have to let the Long Tusk Cub hit me. I don't like this. Turn 2 Cub's a very tough card for us. In fact, I thought about running it in this deck. It wasn't a Reptile, so that was one of the reasons I didn't. But also, it just was very awkward with the amount of 2-drops we already were playing. So here we can go... I think we just want to put out a Drover of the Mighty. As well as Commune, and see if we can hopefully find a dinosaur. Unfortunately, we don't. We find Drover and Winding Constrictor, but we'll take the hub here. And now we're in a little bit of a predicament. I think I do attack in. But my opponent on 4 energy is very, very potent with the Long Tusk Cub. Here is already out to Glorybringer range. Yeah, just the Glorybringer. And will exert killing off the Drover. And might, yeah, I'd say probably end up pumping. And so this will end up being a very quick hand. We only draw Mana Dorks here. I don't even think I can really... We can't stomp anything out. We can cast Double Servant and Drover, but those are kind of bad at this point. So I will cast the other Drover. But again, this is not the best scenario. Not even sure what we can draw into. We'll prepare. Savage Stomp can kill off the Glorybringer. Get us back in this. Sort of. Opponent still has 4 cards in hand. Still has the Long Tusk Cub on 3, so that's 3 energy. And now Rogue Refiner can get even bigger. So I don't think I have a choice but to block on the Cub here. Jeez, yeah, it's huge. And I'm wondering what's the... I think this other Servant's just the better card to throw in the way. And a Ronus. So we did get the Raptor. The Raptor is actually really powerful here, other than the Ronus Cub is already a huge nuisance. This can go up to a 5/5, and wow, actually 3, so it goes up to 4, and then 5, and then yeah, I think actually killing that off is the better play, but still does not put us in the greatest situation, because then we have to fight off the Glorybringer. I think we'll kill off the Glorybringer. Yeah, Ronus was rough. I think we'd almost come back from this just from the Ripjaw. Hub does allow me to fight another one. But again, it's kind of to the point. So do I fight? Drover fights Rogue Refiner. Gives me 2 things that can block pretty good. This can go up. I can fight a Servant to draw another card. And I think I'm just going to Attune. And pass here. Right. Raptor is a very, very good card in this Teamer matchup, as everything I believe does do damage. But Teamer decks are hard to kind of assess a lot of the times because they do have such a flex spot where they run like Ronus here or Scarab God or Hostage Taker, or there's just plenty Carnage Tyrant. There are plenty of slots. That last bit of slot. I mean, most of Teamer decks are Long Tusk, Cub Servant, Rogue Refiner, Bristling Hydra, and Glorybringer, and they have a little bit of a flex spot. So I think we have to go here, and then here is the right play. Here and here. I don't like this play, but I need to block, so this will get one less energy. I don't think it matters. You can pump it twice on the Rogue Refiner, but I think that's fine. So let's see where our opponent decides to go. So he's going to pump once and pump again with the Servant. So we end up losing, but we only take 1 damage there. So it's possible to get back in this with a good draw. That, of course, is not the draw that I wanted, as I think I'm lethal no matter what again. The Bellowing Aegisaur is just not... Do I have 6? I do, so I can actually cast the Savage Stomp, but can't really kill anything. And this can get up to a 6, so... Yeah, so I believe I die no matter what next turn. As it would have to block. Gives trample. Nope, I only take 5 here. No, all my opponent has to do is give this 1 trample. But ended up being closer than I thought it was going to be. Yep, Ronus was a pain. Pretty good Mirror Breaker here. So I think Shaper Sanctuary is fine. I'm not sure if I want to bring in the Fatal Pushes just for the Cubs. I think Cubs are good early on. I think that we can outclass them later on. And I think this is a matchup where we just need to go bigger with like the Carnage Tyrant. Snapping Sailback's fine. The Bellowing Aegisaur can stop the matchups where the board gets kind of a stalemate here. So I think I do want to keep the Bellowing Aegisaur in. I'm trying to figure out if just Ballista just doesn't fit in this match. And I actually think that's the correct play. We're going to take out the Ballistas. I could bring in Blossoming Defenses. They're actually pretty good versus... Ballista's just so good with the Winding Constrictor, but yeah, I think we need to keep in a couple. And maybe the Snapping Sailback, maybe I'm overvaluing it in this particular match because it doesn't really... blocks the Rogue Refiners, which I like. Maybe Ranging Raptors because it doesn't really block anything. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. All right. This is, of course, with 18 lands, this happens. And we'll keep this because we have a lot of... So we have 17 plus 8. So we have 25 cards off of this card that we're going to scry. So times 2. So statistically speaking, we should hit a land or a commune off of the scry. So I think this is a keepable hand. We do have a first turn Shapers. We do have the second, if we do have the land, we have the Drover into hopefully Bristling Hydra. I mean, there's a lot of ifs here, but I do think that this is as good as we can expect from... I mean, going down to 5, this would definitely be a keepable. And we will put that on top. So we do find the land. But it will take us an entire turn to get there. Other than we do have a drop here with the Shaper Sanctuary. I like the Shaper Sanctuary in this matchup because there is Glorybringers, which will draw us a card. Because it's a spell or ability. And all the Harness Lightning type cards too. So still would like the other forest here. But we're still at the mercy. A long-tusk cub again. No cub. That's good news. Land would be the best thing we could draw into. Servant's good here. We'll go ahead and put out Servant. And again, if we got Harness, we at least get to draw a card. So I like the shape we're in. Our opponent also... Whoa, my opponent kept a very loose hand as well. Unfortunately, we miss our land drop. And we'll go to attack here. And Carnage Tyrant might be a little bit of a stretch for our deck. Maybe I need to put like a land in the sideboard to statistically cast them, but you got to think of the communes and the attunes as mainly just filtering for lands. They do slow down the deck a little bit, but we have 7 mana dorks in this deck as well, so. Alright, so there we go. Harness Lightning gets us a Blooming Marsh next turn, which allows us to cast. I think at this point the Ripjaw is actually more potent. And our opponent misses land drops again. And there's a Prepare Fight, which is exactly what we did want, so we'll do Ripjaw here. Could have an Essence Scatter, no Essence Scatter. Again, Teamer Energy is very, very tough to predict because of that flex spot. They have so many things that they can put in their last few spots. So Harness Lightning here is going to have to spend all of the mana, plus we get to draw 2 cards off of it. So I am liking this Shaper's Sanctuary, a very underrated card right now in the standard meta. Another Servant, I think here is just a Bristling Hydra. Yeah, I mean, I could go for the Servant for a Carnage Tyrant. Carnage Tyrant's going to be very rough for my opponent to deal with. But we are in great shape. My opponent's just too far behind now, even if land drops do get hit. This is probably just like a Rogue Refiner here. Yep. Does find the other land, though. Yeah, it's going to be the Commune. And we missed another. I think my Dinosaur does need to come up and count. I could bring in some more Ranging Raptors or something. Maybe instead of the Servants, but I do like the Servants in this deck. Put any of these on the bottom, any order. We'll go ahead and play the planes here. And we'll go ahead. Yeah, just attack in, I think. Don't think I care too much about the Rogue Refiner. I'll allow that to happen, I believe. Do I care to make it bigger? I don't think I do. This allows us to do the Servant. And then next turn, even a Glorybringer is not very good. Bristling Hydra of my opponents, okay. Alright, a Swamp. I think we just attack in here with the Hydra. My opponent will let it happen. So can't quite lethal there. It'd be down to 4. So it's just going to be Carnage Tyrant. And Carnage Tyrant actually works really well with Prepare. as the trample can get through, so the damage is more reliable. Ronus is very weak at this point. Well, actually, Ronus isn't terrible. Another Commune. I think that we just, keep our mana? I think we can pretty much attack him with everything. And, well, the Ronus is going to block the Bristling Hydra. Yeah, the Hydra is very awkward. But if I attack it with everything, we do have open a Walking Ballista that can do 2 more damage. So let me add up everything here. We can safely get through 4 damage. The Carnage Tyrant can probably trample through some damage on the Bristling Hydra. Bristling Hydra can activate twice, so that puts him to 2. So I'm assuming that is the right play, just attacking with everything. Does the Stomp do anything? No, because it would be down a mana. And it would just get the Bristling Hydra up a mana. Would put a +1/+1 counter, though. I think we attack him with everything. I think that's the best use of our turn. I mean, this could go quite badly if my opponent does have a Harness Lightning in play. So we will go put a +1/+1 counter. And then prepare. We already have the hexproof, and there it is. Okay. Awesome. So hopefully we can do this again this turn. So maybe I do need Ranging Raptors in here. I want more Dinosaurs for sure in the main. I'm going to take out 1 Bristling Hydra. I don't know if Carnage Tyrant actually is good in this match, now I'm thinking about it. Deathgorge Scavenger just does seem weak. Unfortunately, this is the wrong land. The Concealed Courtyard. It's one of the, I think there's 4 sources in the deck that you don't want on your opening hand. And this is one of them. It'd be fine with the Commune, but I think this is just too risky to keep. This one's better. Yep, we have the Shaper Sanctuary again. And at this point, I do want the land on top, I think. Just to guarantee that we hit to the Ripjaw. One of the best cards in our deck, of course. Love this Shaper Sanctuary in this match because the Drover basically gets to stay out and draw a card if... Alright, not a Cub. That's good. Snapping Sailback, sure. So we both have our Mana Dorks out. Chandra. Chandra does not want to kill... Oh, the Chandra does kill the... Oh, this hurts. We could be stuck. Yeah, that Chandra. It might be the key card in this match. And we have to draw a land next turn, I believe. Yeah, that really hurt. Killing that. So Bristling Hydra going to come down, or Ronus? Just another Servant. And a Cub? Jeez. We missed the land drop. And we missed the land drop. Yuck. So there's the problem sometimes with the deck. If that would have been a Snapping Sailback, we would have just completely missed. And I think we just lose here. That Chandra and Braid, of course, the difference between going first and second was huge in this match. With the Ripjaw not being out. Ripjaw would have been very, very tough for my opponent to deal with this draw. And I'm down to basically lethal, yeah, next turn. Even if I draw the... Nope, we miss it again. Alright, we'll go on to the next match. Alright, yes, we'd like to play first. Another no-lander. Of course, this would be good with one land. We have triple mana dorks and one commune, but we have to ship this one back. And this one is risky, but we do have the Blooming Marsh on top, so it ends up being okay. I don't know. I'm thinking we might want to cut one Servant. It always seems like we have too many mana dorks to know that we know what to do with. And another Dinosaur would be ideal. Throughout the Servant, here we do need a mid-range card like a Bristling Hydra or a Raging Raptors. Haven't seen a Winding Constrictor at all yet, have we? So it's going to be a vampire deck. I don't know if I care about it. No, I don't think so. We could stomp it out, but yeah, I think I'd rather just progress my board state. But unfortunately, we have 2 fight cards, 2 mana dorks, and 4 lands, and no payoff cards. So yeah, I think with the numbers are a little bit off with this deck. Consistency has been an issue. And this is a monument deck. Okay. So it's going to be annoying. But we do have ways to push through against monument decks. I don't really have any answer. This is where Vraska would be okay. And another Drover. Okay, so do I Savage Stomp here just to put a counter to try and get some sort of advantage? I don't think I do quite yet. This is where the Bellowing Aegisaur is going to be very, very potent. However, Oketcher's Monument can go crazy here with like a Legion Conquistador. Mimic. Naming warriors. So we need to fight that off as soon as possible. Type is vampire. So here comes a Conquistador, possibly? Mavrin. And it does get the trigger. So which one do I need to kill more, Mavrin or Metallic Mimic? Because I can do... Okay, that's beautiful. Now we can kill the Mavrin. Yeah, is that the right... So much. And the Mana Flood. I wonder if Metallic Mimic was the right call there. Conjala's Sunwing. Still 3 cards in my opponent's hand. And a Scavenger Grounds. Not too worried about that. We're taking 1 off the flyer. Yeah, we'll get rid of some lands with Attune. And at this point we can just get the white source rather than spend an energy. Play it. Attacking with the Ripjaw. Get some nice little lifelink. And then we don't want this Metallic Mimic, I think. I'm thinking that's the... card we want out of the way. Get another land. But you can see how well the Ripjaw with the fight mechanics helps fill up our hand. We're behind at this point. There's a Legion's Landing, which is just pure gas. We do have time though, because we're at 31. Opponent is going to give us another card. Because it wanted the Legion Landing to flip, which is fine. And we have another Ripjaw, so another fight mechanic would be pretty good. I mean, right at the moment, our opponent has to get through. With ground. You'd think my opponent would have to block here, too. Yeah, so I think that's the... Can't risk another pump spell. And we get another prepare fight, so... I think we'll just put out another... Raptor. I don't want to extend too much. Just because if there is a Fumigate, I am just so dead. Yeah, I'm not gonna extend. Another Legion's Landing. Alright, my opponent's out of cards now, so I can extend now. Gonna give all his creatures +1/+1, huh? I think that's a little early. Not gonna like my play here with the prepare, as I'll get to draw another card. And is trying to bait off attack with the or block with this vampire blocking. So I can just block here and here, because these are not vampires. And I go up quite a bit of life, so this is much better attack for me. And my opponent does gain some life here, but we pretty much, we make back the life, just about. We're down 1. Or we're up 1. Did I miss? Oh, we blocked 1. Okay, yeah. That one's blocked. Alright, so we get a Commune, which is going to be good this turn to help us find. And my opponent just scoops it up as takes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Takes 19 on the backswing with the prepare. Okay, so I don't think we need to bring in like Fatal Push. I might need to bring in Heroic Intervention if my opponent is playing Fumigates. Scavengers I don't think are necessary. The Tyrants I actually do like in this one to a point just because of the trample, but I don't know if I need it. I think it's just better than the Snapping Sailbacks though. And I'm not gonna... I think that we haven't seen any information if they're running Fumigates. Most do. But again, I'm not sold on the Heroic Intervention. And Carnage Tyrant is going to be a very key card. Alright, yep, we can keep 1-landers with Communes. Especially on the draw. My opponent does Mulligan to 6. And we'll get the Blooming Marsh. And that way we have a Constrictor next turn. We'll probably do a Drover. As it allows us to Thopter or Rest. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a tricky... Not really, because we can use Concealed Courtyard here. And I still think it's going to be Ranging or Commune here, and then Winding Constrictor. Okay, we did not have the land, but we did get a Ripjaw. And... Oh, we can't do Constrictor here. Whoops. No, we can. Haha. I was thinking I didn't have another green source. Or black source. But Concealed Courtyard taps for black and white. There's the Winding Constrictor. Pretty decent little card if we could get the Savage Stomp going. See if Monument... This deck is very Monument dependent. Extremely Monument dependent, so if we avoid a Monument with the first few turns, another Thopter Rest, that does take care of it. It's taking care of two cards, though, that are weaker. We do still need to draw a land. We do not. However, we do have the combo with the Walking Ballista to eventually get there. No Savage Stomp to prepare fights, but prepare... If we draw another... No, we still can't with the land. There's the Monument. No land? Our opponent has missed lands. And there's a Blooming Marsh. So we'll go ahead and attack in. With the Raptor. And I am going to cast this. Yeah, I think I'm going to go down account of Servant. One Servant for up account of Ranging Raptors. So now my opponent's up to 4 lands, so they can go crazy, except they don't have a lot of cards. It needs a Conquistador in hand. The Mimic is not that potent. Especially since I could ping it down with the Walking Ballista. And here, I do believe we do need to kill the Mimic. As my opponent did choose Warrior. So the Kinjali Sunwing is going to be annoying, but I don't think it's... With the amount of lifelink with Prepare Fight, I think we have a pretty good... We will attack with the Raptors. And throw out some more Raptors. So we need one more land for the Prepare Fight combo. Ixalan's Binding is going to take care of this one. Sure. It's not progressing my opponent's board, though. Lots of those. Binding, Thopter, Rests. So we're going to do the same thing. And, oh, I can't cast the other Ripjaw. That binding is actually pretty good. Yeah, that's tough. That takes care of all of my Ripjaws. The Conquistador was probably the worst card for me to face. As it fills back up my opponent's hand with more. Glad we did get rid of the Metallic Mimic. Still a lot of cards we can draw into. This is a matchup where Vraska would just be excellent. Sideboard options, you do still have the Appetite for the Unnatural, I believe is what it's called, the gain 2 life one, as well as a few other destroy enchantment options. The cycling one for the... Oh, that's an artifact, the cycling one. Good news is, though, that we've basically just stumped our opponent. There's the dunes, but my opponent can't really attack in. Okay, awesome. So, we'll prepare. Which thins out our deck. And unfortunately, Attune's a free card just to thin out. List at this point would be really good. Tempting to attack in. I don't think we do, though. Just gotta get that extra life linking damage in. However, I think we need to keep back blockers for the Conquistadors. There's only 2 known Conquistadors in our opponent's hand. Legion's Landing was a rough card. I think my opponent is going to try to flip it over. Wonder if the Dust to Dawn is in this deck. It's got to be the return all creatures with power 2 or less, destroy 3 or greater. So assuming, yeah, attack's going to come here to flip, which is fine. My opponent's going to have to try to find a way to grind this out. I am getting a lot of advantage off of the Ranging Raptors. I'm still at a very healthy life total. And there's the last Conquistador. Savage Stomp. Very awkward card. I think I'd rather keep it around. Ugh, this is so awkward. Yeah, unfortunately I think I keep it around. And I'm running out of lifelink. I think I might just be ground out. The amount of tokens this deck can generate, especially with the Sheffet Dunes too, is going to be tough. Does need another land. Oh, yes, I'm glad I kept it. But this is a lot of damage coming through on this particular turn. Yeah, it's a ton of damage. I'm not even sure I survive this. So we'll kill off 2 of them, take 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ouch. And did put the tokens on the angel, so I'll lose it as well. Yeah, I think I've lost this one. That is kind of a nice card. The Savage Stomp, I could Ballista down the angel and stomp something else. But am I still dead? Because there's 8. I want to keep 1 for the stomp. I think I have to kill the angel. Yeah, we got the dunes next turn. I think I just die too. I think if my opponent sees it, just has to activate the dunes. And I take 6. Oh, jeez, another one. Okay. That was some pretty good draws there. That a Catcher's Monument. I think the Shaper's Sanctuary note where he's bringing in so many ways to... I don't know if that's a good card or not. Hexproof, giving my cards Hexproof, Blossoming Defense might seem pretty reasonable as well, rather than these fight cards. Like, well, I do need to fight specific cards, so yeah, I think that's fine to keep them in. I'm going to take out 1 Servant. Just Shaper's Sanctuary is kind of weird. And unfortunately, this is going to be a mulligan. We'll keep this one, but it's not the greatest hand, especially if there is no Catcher's Monument. And we do want a Ballista with this hand for sure. Well, I guess it didn't matter. Yeah, we shuffle it away, so. We'll go grab a Swamp. We have the other Attune to go get the Plains. Another Bristling Hydra. There's a Metallic Mimic. Ugh, that one's coming out quicker than I'd like it to. It is naming Vampire. There's a Carnage Tyrant, but we are so slow with this hand. Don't be a Monument. Another Mimic. The Legion's Landing. That is a very quick hand with the double Mimic draw. Taking 2. We do have a decent little hand for... The Legion's Landing, though, is going to flip. So that's the problem. There's the Servant, which we needed either last turn or the turn before. However, my opponent would have to lose a Mimic here if he wanted the Legion Landing to flip. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with this play or not. My opponent's trying to go for the Legion's Landing flipping and having a renewable resource every time he attacks with a vampire. Other than we do have some lifelink in this deck, so Savage Stomp can actually get rid of the Mavrin here. I don't know if Mavrin or the Metallic Mimic. I don't know if it's worth it though. If I'd rather just go Sermon of the Conduit here, just to try to get that Carnage Tyrant out. So if I attack in with the Bristling Hydra, I think that's the better play. My opponent would have to double block to kill it, and then we'd kill both of the tokens. Angel? Ugh, gross. Decides to go with servos. That's an interesting choice. This is also an interesting choice. I think we're going to prepare. That gets Mavrin dead, and I think we also want to kill the Metallic Mimic with the Servant. It gives us less options with mana, but I think that's fine. We are down to a 12. My opponent's got a ton of creatures still out. Ballista. Ballista's actually nice here, because we can just shoot down the Angel. And keep it up. Other than my opponent has a lot of cards in hand, hasn't used a lot of resources. All of these were basically free cards. Well, I guess this one was the Legion's Landing. Ay, ay, ay. And I have to shoot it right now, so my opponent will get servos. At least that's two Angels out of the way. I'm going to try to do as much damage as possible, which might be able to swarm off. We do need like another prepare fight. Yeah, I could just get ground down just for the amount of tokens. So prepare fight would be the best thing, just so I can get some more life gain going. But we've got all the lords. All the lords are taken care of now. There shouldn't be another Angel. We were afraid of that. Yeah, that's just lethal. The Dust On. And that gets us. So, tough matchup there with the monuments. But that was an explosive hand. Even without the monument, I kept saying how the monument deck was so dependent on that monument. But with the Metallic Mimic draw, that's also pretty potent. We'll go on to the last match. All right, match 4. Yes, we like to play first. Keep a hand with the one lander. We do have a bunch of mana dorks with no no payoff here, but with the triple attunes mean the Commune will probably be able to use to find a dinosaur. Our opponent molds to 6. Okay. We will go first turn Attune, and I think let's grab a forest here because that allows us to double Attunes next turn. Sure enough, we'll Attune, grab the plains, Attune, and grab a swamp. Pass turn. Still don't have a dinosaur for the Savage Stomp with the Bristling Hydra. Wondering if this should be a dinosaur. Well, hopefully next set will give us a dinosaur that will have a 4-drop slot, deal with counters. But Bristling Hydra is a very good card in this deck. It gives us our outlet for the energy. I should have played that the other way and communed. I didn't even realize there until after I tapped my mana and cast a spell. So there is an Obelisk Spider. This is going to be a Patra deck. That is actually going to be very annoying. We'll go ahead and this one we will tap, tap, tap. Bristling Hydra. And as well as Commune. And we do get the Ripjaw. Alright, any order here. And we are in pretty decent shape. Next turn having the Savage Stomp being able to fight off the Spider. So Nest of Scarabs. This is annoying. It puts out Death Touch ones? No, this one doesn't. Okay. So I highly doubt the Obelisk Spider attacks in. And that way we can kill it off next turn. Yes, we do have the mana for it. So we will go the Ripjaw Raptor. And the Savage Stomp. And attack in. I'm actually going to do it twice. Puts him on a really fast clock down to 14. Allows me to have lethal next turn. So keeps up the hexproof. Not a lot my opponent can throw out here that I'm too worried about. The Torment of Venoms. Yeah, that puts out a lot of black insect tokens, but I think the between the Walking Ballista and the Savage Stomp, we get through. So can we do 14 damage? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is all I can think here. But I still think it's worthwhile. Yeah, I think we'll just keep one back. No, I think just Walking Ballista here for 3 is the right play. I wonder why there's a double block on the Bristling Hydra. Seems very... It doesn't have trample. Yeah, that didn't make sense. Okay. So, we're still at a 1 turn away from winning here. Another Torment of Venom, of course, would be annoying. That is just going to get... We're going to slam. Kill that. With the Walking Ballista. And that was the wrong target to target. Because I will just unload it and then it will fizzle. Yep, and that's game. I have 11 damage on the backswing. Without the Savage Stomp, even though there's not a target for the Savage Stomp now. There's a Winding Constrictor. Too little too late. And that's perfect. We'll go on to the sideboard. It feels like Blossoming Defense is really good in this one. My opponent's going to be trying to target a lot of my cards. I could actually even bring in Heroic Intervention here. I think that we probably don't want the Drovers. I think that this is fine to cut the Drovers. Fatal Push is actually good versus Hepatra. Excuse me, and I don't know if it's worthwhile, though we have the fight cards that are still pretty good. Maybe Prepare Fight's not necessary in this particular one. We can just put Fatal Pushes in instead. I think Hepatra is very, very necessary for this deck to be successfing, and Prepare Fight's just slow to fight the Hepatra, so 3 of Fatal Push is probably the right call. You know what, Bellowing Aegisaur? Bellowing Aegisaur is okay. Yeah, probably should have taken that out. Put in like a Carnage Tyrant because the Tyrant has Trample. So this is an okay hand. We have no Mana Dorks or Attunes, but we do have 2 lands, so I'm okay with this hand. We have the Rishkar. Sailback was also kind of a weak card. Our curve is pretty heavy here. So I'd love to hit on this next turn. Of course, it's going to go Winding Constrictor, but in 2 turns I do want to draw land because we have the Rishkar Winding Constrictor. Winding Constrictor is actually something maybe I should have taken out because it will double the amount of counters that gets put on my stuff. So if I do end up losing this match, that was just something, an oversight when I clicked OK on the submit. So the Constrictor should come out, the Drover should stay in, Carnage Tyrant should come in, and then the Snapping Sailbacks will probably should come out. Sailbacks are okay versus like the Obelisk Spider. So it's a way to kill. Speak of the Winding Constrictors, there's another one. So we do need that land drop next turn. I do have a Savage Stomp that I could stomp away like a spider. Alright, so it is an Obelisk Spider. Let's hope for that. It is. Alright, so I do believe I want to kill it, because if it deals combat damage to a creature whenever you put one... how much do we need? Yeah, I want the Rishkar here. But at the same time, I think that's the better play. Torment of Venom would be pretty brutal here because it will kill the Winding Constrictor. Oh, it does not. Not quite. Yeah, it puts a bunch of... So here's going to be a Rishkar, which will get rid of the counters on the Winding Constrictor. And I'm actually going to just not attack in. We're going to hold up the Blossoming Defense. I think it's a better play. Oh, I don't have a counter. Haha, never mind. I forgot it just didn't. It just got rid of the negative counters. A little Hydra here, though. And I will attack in with both of these since I know there's no counters now. See if my opponent decides to... No, it can't kill any of them because there's no counters on the cards. So we're actually in pretty decent shape now with the Blossoming Defense up. And no, because I can't tap with the Bristling Hydra to summon a sickness. Yeah, we're kind of in a pickle if my opponent gets another card that actually deals. So it's between Hepatra and these Scarabs. I have no clue why that happened, because Hexproof happens. Oh, wow. Never mind. It didn't target. Why did it look like it targeted the Bristling Hydra there? Man, I'm all over the place. Okay, so here, we're going to go ahead and attack in again. And we'll put a Ripjaw out. Yeah, I swear that card, when I looked on the screen, it looked like the Splendid Agony was going right for the Bristling Hydra. Should be distributing counters because it would do more. But my opponent's almost out of resources here. Didn't find one of the enablers. Hey, that would have been a good card a long time ago. Put out the Shaper Sanctuary. And at this point, we'll attack in. And then just, well, I'll play another Winding Constrictor, I think. Yeah, we have a Blossoming Defense. And my opponent really has to play defense. And this is pretty much over next turn. Blossoming Defense will keep any one of my cards from dying here. We'll actually even draw a card from being targeted in the first place. Initiate doesn't really do a whole lot. Gives a blocker. Fight card would have been really good there. Attune's fine, gains a lot of energy. And picks us up another forest. My opponent does not have a choice but to block. And again, we'll just keep up the Blossoming Defense because two cards in my opponent's hand, they both have to be very, very relevant. Now my opponent can't win here. Unless this is some sort of... Nope, that's not going to do it. Eliminate a Death Wielder. Put one up to one target creature, destroy a creature. Yeah, it's definitely not going to do anything. It still would die on the backswing. And we'll just Blossoming Defense it. Here, let's just win with the Ballista. And there you have it. So end up going 2-2. We'll play the last matchup on my Rogue Deck Builder channel, YouTube/Rogue Deck Builder. See how we do in this league. Again, pretty average of a deck. The Teamer Energy, the Oketra would definitely be the more tuned to the matchups. And then match number one, I have to admit, my opponent getting stuck on the lands was pretty much a no-show. It was an easy match there, but the deck does have potential. I think we're a little low on the dinosaur counts. I'm not sure if Bristling Hydra wants to be just a 2 of instead of a 3 of or a 4 of. The Bellowing Aegisaur is kind of weird. Ranging Raptors would really be the only card that we could put more of, or just put the Carnage Tyrants in the main. But I don't like playing a lot of 6-drops with the low mana count that we have. We could go into white for some other dinosaurs, but it hurts our mana base. There is the Kinjali Sunwing that's pretty decent. There are a few other dinosaurs, I believe, at the 3-drop slot in white. One that taps down a creature is actually not terrible. But I think that the next set, this sort of archetype is going to get very, very interesting. A lot of people were disappointed with Ixalan, but I don't think you can expect too much out of one set for the amount of tribes that we need to really push vampires, pirates, Dinosaurs, Merfolk. Next set, adding a bunch more into the mix, I think is going to get very interesting with the tribal. Will it be enough to push over the top of energy? That's asking for a lot, because I think that Kaladesh was a very, very push set with vehicles and energy, and it's tough for Ixalan and Hour Devastation, those type of themes of either one of those sets to really compete with the pushed mechanics of Kaladesh. So rotation after rotation, though, of course, everything is up in the air. That's a year away, though. And the problem with that is, though, I love the synergy with the Dinosaurs have at the moment with the Winding Constrictor. And maybe we'll see some more of those. Maybe we'll see some black Dinosaurs in the next set. That would be awesome. And if they deal with +1 encounters, that'd even be better. And then we'll have some more cards to work with. Anyway, any suggestions in the comment section below? And we'll see what we can do to upgrade this deck. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.